For me, one of the most important things is when you make that investment in the first place. That first year of starting out your business as SME, that's a big investment. That's money in itself. That's 1 year out of not doing anything else but invested in your business. And yet, you know, for the government, you know, as SMEs have to pay the same tax, income tax as what everybody else does, which I think is unfair. You know, so if I was Prime Minister, Lord of mercy, that's one thing I would change. I would have some kind of tax relief for SMEs so that, you know, that investment that you make for that first year you go into business, you know, you don't end up paying the same like somebody else who's gone into business that hasn't made that investment in it, that's come across a business that's been inherited or something like that. I think that's really important for small to medium enterprises to have some sort of tax relief. So that's what I would do. And other things. I mean, we're sitting here in my mentor's, you know, Peter's office, where I share an office with him. And I can remember, you know, one of the key things, you know, that he said to me that still sticks to me is that mistakes are feedback. You know, and I've always used that in my business, is how it doesn't stop me from creating new things and trying new things, because you'll always see that as some kind of feedback that you don't go back to that. And I thought that was really cool advice. And it's for any young entrepreneur that's starting on that road to business. If you're afraid to make mistakes or you're afraid to try new things, you will never move on. And that vision of what is the entrepreneur will always tell you, it's somebody that goes out, does the business, makes a success of it, and then moves on. So never be afraid of mistakes, I say, you know, mistakes are feedback. The only way you can know is by doing that groundwork. You've got to get out there amongst people and actually let them try it. And people will always be honest. Again, don't ask families or friends, because they'll never be honest, you know. If you go out there in the field, do your networking, go to the events, whether it's a food or whatever product that you're doing, go to these specific events where everyone's on the same tip and everyone's honest, and will always, and because they're looking for honesty as well, you will know whether or not it's going to be a success or not. I did it for years at the Carnival. I tested my sauce at the Nottingham Carnival for nearly 20 years. That's a long time, every year. So I knew, you know, what people thought of the product before I actually decided to market it. Well, it was quite fun actually, because I remember it was a really surreal moment. Peter and I went to see Justin King, you know, chief of Sainsbury's. Very first time, sauce hadn't got anywhere. And went in to see Justin, and Justin is deliberating with Peter how much his first sort of order is going to be. And at the time, I was still making it in my kitchen. I tell this story all the time. Still making it in the kitchen with my kids, making 67 bottles every time we did it, because of the size of the Dutch pot. And while Justin King is talking to Peter, you know, Peter's head is going in numbers and he's smiling, but all my thoughts were, please Justin, don't order more than 67 bottles, because that's where we were. But Justin went on to order 250,000. So, you know, that's upscaling for you. But as I says, I'd always told the banks that I knew this was going to be a success, and thank God that it materialized that way. Write a song and have your guitar. Write a song and have a guitar. That's my only thing. And I say that, but literally what I'm trying to say is that you got to have your passion out front, you know. And for me, music was always my passion. So, you know, it might sound funny, but actually I do mean it, you know. Whatever is your passion, mine was music. That's what investors are looking for, you know. They're not looking for perfectuality, because otherwise they're saying that, why do you need me? You know, and I think when I came up the stairs in Dragon's Den, you know, people will see it. Even though that appearance is come to mark out, you know, someone pitches an idea and all that kind of stuff. But in true life, it actually is one of the worst pitches on Dragon's Den ever, because I sweated profusely. I got all my numbers wrong and everything. But in saying that, the Dragons weren't looking for me to stand there, you know, all confidently and acting like, you know, ice would melt in my mouth. I think the fact that, you know, I was the real thing, I didn't pretend. I made mistakes just like everyone else, and that's what they're looking for. And I always say to people that be you know, and let that passion come out front, because at the end of the day, people are invested in passion.